Good afternoon, HPC and the City Pandemics participants. Tonight, we will have our systems onboarding training as our last pre-event training session before our HPC and the City Pandemics hackathon, which believe it or not, is actually starting the day after tomorrow. Oh my goodness. So we have a very interesting and fun-filled weekend coming up, but we want to make sure that you all have the tools that you'll need in order to be successful during this event. Now, our mentors, we've already had a mentor overview training last week. So your mentors are preparing their slide decks and in order to give their pitches to you so that you can select those projects in which you would like to work during our Friday kickoff. But the other tools and deliverables and things that go along with this hackathon, we just kind of want to give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect. And of course, we will conclude the session with actually showing you a demo of one of the things or some of the things you can actually do with your TAC accounts, which we'll also be able to create tonight as well. Now, having said that, let's not go beep. Let's go click, because I want to take a moment to actually introduce some of the organizers of this event. They've been working very hard to make sure that this event is successful. We want to make sure that you all are supported and taken care of, and that what you produce, that it's good to go. And having said that, a few of our organizers are actually here tonight. Now I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner and work my way over to the right, and I'll save myself for last here. But having said that, the first is Dr. Linda Hayden. She's actually a professor emeritus at Elizabeth City State University and a principal investigator or PI or researcher for the SGX3 Science Gateways Institute, which Charlie and I are actually coming to you live from Pittsburgh because that session just ended. That final session actually just ended 2 hours ago. Additionally, we actually have Dr. Lauren Ansel Myers, who is actually a part of the Center for Pandemic. Oh boy, no, Jamie, don't forget it. Pandemic Decision Science. There we go. Center at University of Texas at Austin. They're one of our primary groups. We have several mentors that actually come from that group. Now I'm going to pop open my participants window because I want to see, is Dr. Myers here? I don't think I saw her in the list. No, I don't see her there. But up next, we have the amazing, the incredible, one of our leadership team members, well, Dr. Kelly Gaither. Those that know you, of course, you need no introduction at all. But for those that don't know you, Kelly, would you like to say hello to us?
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm excited to be working with you guys over the next couple of days.
Excellent. Thanks, Kelly. And thanks for, of course, assisting with HPC and the City Pandemics. Miss Amy Cannon. Now, we always talk about Amy as being the heart of our hackhpc.org organization from Omnibon. She is actually recovering from the sessions that we had earlier today. So she sends her greetings from Omnibon, as does Boyd. I'll skip over me and say Boyd as well. They're actually both in the same meeting, taking care of some business, catching up after the Gateways conference that we were just leaving. Mr. Alex, no, believe it or not, Alex is actually here in Pittsburgh as well, but unfortunately he's not feeling too well today. So Alex, we hope you're doing better, buddy. But he sends his greetings as well. You'll hear more from him during our initial kickoff. And then, of course, Mr. Charlie Day from TAC. Charlie, you want to say hi to us?
Of course. Hi, everybody. HPC in the City has got to be one of the most coolest events ever. So very much looking forward to it. Yeah, welcome, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Charlie. Additionally, we also have Hector Santiago, and Hector was one of our students. We got to know him as an undergraduate student at Winston-Salem State University. He graduated with his bachelor's in computer science and is now working on his master's.
Graduates in May with his master's.
He actually graduates in May with his master's, and he actually also is leaving Pittsburgh, and he is on his way to Switzerland to participate in another conference dealing with hackathon. So he sends his greetings as well. But I do want to take a moment. There's someone that isn't on this list, but I have to let her say hello. There are two Lindas in my life. There's Dr. Linda Hayden, which is like mama number 2. And then there is Linda Ackley, who is also a powerhouse in the education and outreach and diversity system. And Linda, if you wouldn't mind, could you say hello to us?
Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to see this kick off. I know you guys are going to have an amazing time, and you will see me drop in and out over the duration of the event. And in particular, I'll be looking really forward to those final presentations. That is what really jazzes me up when I see those.
Thank you so much, Linda, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for agreeing to be a judge. I'll be getting that calendar invite out to you. Thank you so much. All right, so moving forward here, just so you all have an idea of what's going on, first we'll be going over our hackathon objectives. I always like to ensure or make sure that everyone understands the reason why we're here. We'll go over an example project timeline. I know there are some students that this may be your first hackathon, and so we want to make sure you have an idea of what this is, a realistic view of what this is going to require and be like. We'll have our deliverables and resources. We'll go a little bit deeper into Discord, GitHub, and then Omnibond Project Eureka. We're just going to show a screenshot because you'll learn more about that during the kickoff on Friday. And then we'll actually get into our attack new user account creation, because with that, you're going to be able to access the data sets that the Pandemic Center has actually provided as well. And Kelly Gaither is actually going to be our gatekeeper for that. And so we'll talk about that in a little while. On this slide, though, if you notice, there's a link down in the bottom right-hand corner. You're going to hear me say this again and again and again. If you have not joined our Discord server, please do. On our Discord server, that is going to be our main method to communicate with each other. And once you create your teams as well, there'll be additional communication method for you to communicate. But we'll go ahead and push forward here. This is the only slide I'm going to read verbatim. The only one. And what it says is, the hackathon aims to harness the resources, skills, and knowledge found in the HPC, high performance computing community, in an effort to provide applied exposure towards students from 2 to 4 year post-secondary educational institutions, as well as, of course, degree granting. In short, the hackathon will provide HPC skills and training while targeting problems that directly affect the participants. Now, let me say this a better way. We're going to take the resources, skills, the knowledge, the personnel power, and we're going to combine them with early career, undergraduate, graduate students, and allow you all to work on a project that's important to you. And in this case, that focuses on pandemic-related issues. You're going to develop knowledge and create solutions to identify pandemic decision science projects through application of data analysis, presentation, or management utilizing HPC/CI, cyber infrastructure resources. Some of the outcomes: increased familiarity with data science in the cloud, experience in collaborative software engineering, which if you've never done collaborative software engineering, it's going to be fun. And develop professional communication skills. Now, although our event does have is more about learning and growing and experiencing the applied skill sets, there is a competition component to it. But the competition that we add to it, the purposes of them are to drive your research, to drive your project, to make sure that you reach the end. Having said that, these are a few of the major and minor awards, including team introduction, project management, team trailer progress. And then we get to why we have our judges, like Linda Ackley. We'll have our judges award, and you have the criteria over there on the right. Again, we'll speak a lot more about that during our kickoff. We have our viewer's choice, where you'll be able to send out links to your friends, family, collaborators, cohorts, faculty, and the list goes on and on for them to vote for your project, as well as an impact award, that award that most would aid the pandemic field or in pandemic community decision, pandemic science, there we go, decision science community, along with that award. Now, project timeline. Again, we want you to have a realistic view. On Friday night, as a matter of fact, at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Make sure, yes, 3 p.m. Pacific, we'll have our kickoff. Now, the purpose of that first night isn't for you to hurry up and do a whole lot of work. The purpose of that first night is for you to form teams and to form a team identity. And the mentors have been given information on that, but that's the purpose of that first night. That's why we start late. Saturday is your first full working day, where we'll lead more into team introductions, team goals. Sunday, we'll have a progress challenge to see how things are going. Monday, we'll just do a quick check-in because you will be working hard at that point, and we want to make sure you're okay. And that leads us to Tuesday morning, where we get the gift from our mentors, where we get to see the mentor trailer so that we can open up our viewer's choice. And then that night at 5 p.m., we will have our final presentation. So if we put all that together, you're looking at about 96 hours total time. If we take out the time for planning check-ins, we take out about 30 hours to sleep. Let me say this again. We take out time for you to sleep. In other words, please sleep. Please, you need to rest. And that gives you about 60 hours-ish of work time. Now, I will fully admit, Friday, you're going to be bright and bushy-tailed, but by the end, you may look like Master Yoda. But don't worry, we're going to get things done. So,
Yeah, but side, they're also going to be as knowledgeable and as wise as Master Yoda. So there's pluses.
that is correct. That is absolutely correct. So, like I said, we want you to have a realistic view, but also be aware of the time. The other reason we say this is because you're not going to be able to save the world in this time. Your projects are going to change and reshape. And we're going to say more about this as we go along. And your mentors have also been trained on this so that they're aware of it. So just be aware that is what we're working with. Now, deliverables. What do we expect from you? Number one, your team will have a GitHub repository where you all will create a custom readme.markdown file. You'll have your source code there, including comments, if you have any. And you'll have a copy of your presentation that includes your team members with pictures and mentors, use of technology in the project, and the project impact on the community. During that time, you'll also have a presentation where you'll be able to demo your final results. A lot of times we're asked about how long will that presentation be. We try to ensure that those presentations, including questions, are no longer than about 10 minutes. So remember, you're going to have your group to support you, and we're going to be behind you as well. There is one additional thing we may add to this. We're trying to see if we can target a conference. So I'm putting a bug in your ear here, Kelly. If there is a particular conference that we can target, we will also add as a deliverable a project poster so that your team can add all this information that you already have to this poster. So if there are any internships or conferences that you'd like to attend, you can submit that poster. We actually had a couple from our past event that presented this time. Having said that, resources. So you're hearing these same resources again and again. There's a reason for that. We want to get them in your head. Project Eureka for Omnibond. That is actually an online resource that allows you to spin up virtual machines, Jupyter notebooks, and the list actually goes on and on. There's several launchers up there that you'll be taught about on Friday. Now, I do want to put out a warning, a fair warning, and I'll say more about this later. If you're using Project Eureka, unfortunately, the safeguard data set. So the data set that Kelly has made available to us, you can only use that on TAC resources due to proprietary concerns. However, depending upon your project, that may be a resource that you'll be able to utilize. Tonight, we're going to give you access to a TAC allocation on both Frontera and Lone Star 6, some of our fastest computers and some of the fastest supercomputers in the world, especially in dealing with open science. You'll have access to a mobility data set. So that is that safeguard data set that I was telling about that Kelly has access to. From our prior hackathons, some of the more commonly used things that teams have used is Python, R and R Studio. Again, Kelly is a master of that, and we also have Emily and Gladys that are very experienced in R Studio. Jupyter Notebooks has been a powerhouse tool, especially when it comes to, you're going to hear this word again, reproducible science. Node.js and HTML and CSS. So if you're doing any type of front end or dashboard to go along with it, those languages, of course, come into play, or scripting languages, as well as Colab. Google Colab is a collaborative environment. Works very well. And actually, I believe that includes R. I know it has Python as well as other languages as well. There are also additional collaborative environments such as Replit, Kaggle, and the list actually goes on and on and on. And again, I keep putting Discord. Why do I keep putting Discord, Charlie?
Ooh, why? Why is Discord a resource? Maybe because this hackathon is virtual. You're going to be working in teams. You're going to have to communicate with your mentor. You're going to have to communicate with your organizers. You're going to have to communicate with each other. And there might even be a time where you're going to be sharing a knowledge that you have gained with the other teams. So Discord is the main place we like to communicate on. Jamie, why do we like Discord?
So the reason we like Discord, believe it or not, we actually used to use Slack for these different events. The reason we adjust it to Discord is because we want the information to stay available to you in the future, as well as those networks of connections and the ability to communicate over it into the future.
Yeah.
There are other events, but the side note is we're a family.
Yes.
We're a collaborative, we're a community. And so we want to make sure that that community stays alive, vibrant, and available and open to those that want to join.
And we realize, you know what, you all are students, and Discord is where most of your life lives. So yeah, we can adapt, we can pivot, we can go to Discord.
Yes. So join the Discord.
I would like to point out that the commonly used resources that Jamie has posted, you're not limited to that. If there is something that you have used in the past that you think might be able to be applicable to this hack, something you're comfortable with, something your team might be comfortable with, that's okay to use. And all we'll do is we'll take what you say and we'll add that to our list of commonly used resources. So you're not limited to these.
That's absolutely correct. Having said that, this is a side note. This is me stepping on my soapbox. The mentors will be providing you with an idea or a problem that you can work on. You can choose to work on whichever problem there are. There are actually 4 of them. Once they hand you that problem, your team is going to shape that into what you all think it should be. And that's okay. I just want to make sure that is completely known on both sides.
Yeah, this is your project. This isn't our project. This is your project. And we want you, well, to nurture it. The same way, you know, we've all nurtured ideas and projects in our past. This is now your turn.
Yes. Now, I do want to ask, just for me, before I go to the Discord slide, so I'm looking at the participants window right now. If you all wouldn't mind using the reactions to let me know how many of you all have participated in one of our hackathons before. Oh my goodness, Dr. Hayden's home. So Dr. Hayden's on. Maytall's here. Hey, Maytall.
Hey, I'm just listening in and learning. So
Not a problem. So glad to see you. All right, so we have a couple. We have a
Hello,
couple.
everyone.
Hey, Dr. Hayden.
Right, we've got
Just got off the plane.
Thank you, thank you for making time for us, Doc. We're
Yeah.
glad to see. Oh, Doc. So I have to do this. This is a very rare thing. Dr. Linda
gosh.
Hayden and Linda Ackley are in the same Zoom room at the same time. And we're getting stuff done today.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and push forward here. Let's see here. So Discord, I'm going to say only we've said we keep pushing it, but there is one thing I want you to know. Now, many of you all have probably used Discord in the past. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out these the reactions that are here. There we go. How many of you all currently have used Discord in the past or even use it now? There we go. So we have a couple that exactly. And this is what we've seen. This is another reason why we switched over to Discord. We found that many students and faculty already use Discord. So we don't want to give you one more platform. As you see, what you're looking at over here is my personal Discord, and you see all these different channels I'm part of. Yeah. So I don't like switching, and Slack is just as bad. But we want you to use a tool that you're accustomed to using. For those of you that are new to Discord, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but we're here to help. As you saw, many of us have used Discord before. And I want to say this again, like I say, you're going to hear this over and over again. We're a family here. We're a community. If one of us have figured out something, a way to do something, share it with us. We're here to help.
Yeah, I mean, there might be there is a competitive component to it, as Jamie has already pointed out. But the main thing of this is we are a family. We are a community. We're here to support each other. We're to help each other. And we want everybody to succeed. So if you discover something, you find something, you implement something that you think the other teams might be able to gain some knowledge base from, share it with them.
Please do.
Support each other.
Please do. And when we say that, we don't say it lightly. You're going to have little mini presentations. We usually call them the 1 slide, 1 minute presentations. With those 1 slide, 1 minute presentations, if your team has figured out something, or if you've run into an issue and someone else has figured it out, we'll have the two of you get together and help. Or if it's a problem that a couple groups have and one group has figured out, we'll have that group, we'll ask that group to give a short little presentation on how they did it. So I just want you to know, this is not we just have to protect our, no, we are family. We're here to help each other. You're going to hear us say that again and again and again. Now, having said that, with Discord, when you all join Discord, you're going to land right in the big general section or general channel. In that channel, if you go to over on the left-hand side, as you see here in the window, you'll see a section there called Select Role. If you go within that role, you can choose whether you're a hacker or a student, or a hacker/student, or a mentor staff. Please do that. There are reasons we assign those roles to make your life a little bit easier. So it's well worth doing that. And in selecting those roles, it will then invite you into or add you to the HPC in the City Pandemics Forum channel. So that is there for you. Just for those, again, that aren't used to it, there are something that's very different from Slack for all my Slack users. There's a text channel that you can create, and there's a voice channel that you can create, and they're separate. Your team, of course, will decide to do that, and your mentors will have the ability to create those for you. You can do screen sharing, file sharing, and of course, announcements and things across the channel. So just putting that out there for you. And just one last time, join the Discord. Everything's there.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What should we join, Jamie?
The Discord. Now, having said that, I want to move on to GitHub. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into GitHub, and I want to tell you, there are so many different ways to use GitHub. On Saturday after our main session, you will have assigned roles for your different team members, people that are in charge of certain things. After the morning session, I will do a brief overview for those in those roles responsible for GitHub to assist them if they've never used GitHub before. I'm going to show you the easy way. What that means is take you to the website and I will show you how to drag and drop. Using it through command line, through VS Code, using it in Colab. Like I said, there are many different ways you can use it. I'm going to show you the easy way that will get you going without a lot of confusion. I will also mention that GitHub Pages allows you to create websites on GitHub. Many teams have used that, hint, hint, poke, poke. And then as well, I do briefly go over the Markdown language, which allows you to customize your readme.md file, which is a part of your deliverables. And I usually show you a little bit about Code Maker, which is actually a part of GitHub that actually allows you to modify your code and whatnot from a VM within GitHub. But you want to make sure you shut it down so it doesn't cost you money. Omnibond's Project Eureka, as I said before, this is it's actually a science gateway that allows you to spin up virtual Docker containers or virtual machines using regular information. It allows you to start programs or services like Jupyter Hub. It allows you to see a desktop on a Linux machine, an RStudio, and VS Code, and the list actually goes on there, as you can see, but it allows you to do it by just clicking that launch button. Omnibond has graciously provided credits that are actually provided by Amazon Web Services that will allow you to start up these machines and use them as needed. Those machines will be made available to you starting during the kickoff based on the email address which you use to register for this event. And we'll break them out into teams when the time comes as you all would like to use it. Like I said, again, you'll hear more about that during the kickoff on Friday.
I cannot emphasize how awesome it is that Omnibond is giving us this Project Eureka to use for free.
Yes.
They pay for it. They're sucking up the cost, and they are giving it to us to use. So it is an incredible resource.
I do want to throw one more thing out there about Project Eureka. Omnibond, they've been a long time partner with Hack HPC from the very beginning back in 2018 when Maytal gave me the permission to go to Perk 18 and Doc pulled me in as a part of Science Gateways for us to have our first hackathon. Omnibond has been with us since then. The collaboration with the students actually shaped their product. So they have their current product offering is called Cloudy Cluster. That product actually changed from them working with our students to become an easier thing to use. Project Eureka is the next version of it. It's actually in beta right now. I believe Omnibond would actually be announcing it officially at Supercomputing 23, so SC23. And I will just say it has become a much better product from them working with you all, which is why they have invested so much into these different events. And when you meet Boyd, he's like a brother. He's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you to Omnibond for that. Moving on. It's time for the fun part. So
Never use the word fun. You know how you know what you say when I use the word fun. So
fun with a capital F.
yes.
No, this is not going to be bad at all. We attack. I never introduced myself. I just thought about that. So my name's Jamie Powell. Apparently, I'm going to be the hostess with the mostest for you all. I am a part of the Texas Advanced Computing Center, as well as several other staff members and mentors. We are a research institution that holds several computing clusters used for open science and used around the country and some around the world. Having said that, we are going to give you access to those computational resources. Now, I know I have some University of Texas at Austin students, and they go, well, I am able to access the TAC resources, and that's great. We're opening this up to all of our students so that we can do that. And of course, these resources are available anyway, but it's an amazing thing that we're able to do this for this event. And then we're also going to give you the tools and the training and the skills and resources and the personnel that will directly work with you in order to make sure you're successful in using them. So that when you have those great ideas in which you're going to need high performance computing or cyber infrastructure in order for it to take place, you'll have that knowledge within you. Having said that, we're going to need something from you tonight, and you're seeing it on this slide right now. We're going to drop the link. Charlie, if you don't mind dropping the form link into chat. If you already have a TAC account, and those that have a TAC account, hopefully you know what I mean. Please fill out that form. That's going to be your proof that you completed training tonight. So those that do not have a TAC account, what I want you to do is I want you to make your way over to tacc.utexas.edu. We're going to drop that link into chat as well. tacc.utexas.edu. And in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see login. You're going to click login, and when you click login, this window is going to appear before your eyes. You're going to need to click create account. Now, I need to tell you two things about this. Two very, very, very important things about it. The first thing is, as you fill out that form for your account, please do not use a Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail address. Let me say that again. As you're filling out this form, please do not use, for the TAC account creation form, please do not use a Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail account if at all possible. Please use your organizational email or school email, your .edu. Second thing, there's a second part of your account where it has you set up your multi-factor authentication, MFA token. MFA token is many websites use them. Chances are you probably have a site that does it already. That allows you to either receive a text message or use an application that gives you a series of numbers that you can enter after you enter your password. When asked whether you want to receive a text message or if you want to use an authentication application, use the authentication application. Let me say that again. When you have the choice of either receiving a text message, SMS text message, or using an authentication application, use the authentication application. And although it recommends Duo, you could also use Google Authenticator, LastPass Authenticator, whatever multi-factor authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator is another one. Whatever authenticator you prefer, that's fine. Just follow the prompts and just use your application to create that multi-factor authentication. There is a person that has actually taken time out of their day after hours to be here to make sure that we have the help that we need. And his name is Chris Ramos. So I want to take a moment and say, Chris, thank you so much for taking this extra time after work to make sure that our students are going to be successful. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for that. I'm happy to help. And fortunately, the devs on the tool side of it have made this all fairly streamlined compared to what it used to be. But please, if anyone runs into any issues or anything like that, please reach out to me. I am also on the Discord as cramos_tech, or reach out through here while we're sitting in the presentation. I'll be sitting here to help.
Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate your efforts.
And I do want to let you all know that on that form, if there is some type of issue with your account, at the bottom of that form, and in fact, I will show it. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a moment right now, and I'm going to show it to you so that you can see what the form looks like, and so that you're aware of what's going to say. So this is the form that will open for you. Uh-oh, did I lock up? No, there's my mouse. There we go. So you can actually see the form. It'll ask for your email, first name, last name, your email address, your cell phone number, your role in the event, school organization, and then your TAC username. Please make sure you put in your TAC username. Your TAC username will not be an email address. It will not have an @ symbol in it. So just saying that out loud. And then it
We
asks,
ask for your cell phone number because in case the mentor needs to get in touch with you and it's something immediate and some sort of an emergency, the mentor can do that. So
and or if you have a problem with your account. If you select down here, yes, or let's say that no, your account is not working properly and you put in what issue you were having. If we need to contact you to get it squared away, we can. Now, there's one other thing I do need to add to that statement. If you do not have US citizenship, if you're not located in the US, please send me an email personally. We do have limitations because this is a US purchase and funded pieces of equipment. There is a list of certain countries that we are not allowed to give you access to these systems. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to make sure that's clear.
So Jamie, can I clarify that real quick?
Yes,
They have to be
please.
affiliated with a US institution. They do not have to be a US citizen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So affiliated with a US institution. So affiliated. So if you are from another country, but you are a student at the University of Texas at Austin, for example, you're okay. You're good to go. Thank you, Kelly. Now, for the fun part. Now, I am not an expert in pandemic decision science. I just learned the term pandemic decision science a few weeks ago. I am smart enough to allow the person that does know things about decision science, as well as the mobility data set, to actually tell us a little bit about it. So Kelly, I'm actually going to stop my share. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that data set, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so it is during the pandemic itself, COVID-19, SafeGraph, which has been under a couple of names, Placeski, they use anonymized subsampled cell phone data previously for marketing purposes to determine how many Pop-Tarts to get in the Walmart during, storms and things like that. They released it for the purposes of research during COVID-19, anyone researching any aspect of COVID-19. And so what's in the mobility data is, again, anonymized. It is a sampling by census block group, which is, we'll talk more about that later, but you can think of it akin to about the size of a zip code area or a neighborhood. And it is like for all the places in the US and Canada are in that data set. So all of those places, businesses, hospitals, parks, everything that has a federally designated code by type. So restaurant, healthcare facility, outdoor space, all of those things. It's how many visits per week and from where people made to those locations. And you can use that mobility for a variety of reasons, and you're going to see the mentors use it in a variety of ways. I'm going to use it to look primarily at sort of mass gatherings and whether we can detect them. I mean, hint, I know we can. Also, you can, and we'll use that in combination with the census data, because the census data is based on census block groups, and it will give you some idea of population. It gives you some idea of the demographics, both sort of socioeconomics and sort of race, ethnicity, gender, etc. It will give you some idea of what those census block groups look like. And then you're going to look at the places that people visit by week over time. We have 2018 all the way through the end of February 2022. So we have roughly, sort of 3.5 years, almost 4 years worth of data to take a look at right in the middle of COVID-19. So it's a lot of fun. It gives you just in high, sort of 10,000 foot view. It gives you a proxy for human behavior. And it gives you a proxy for, with respect to health disparities, those that were, that did not have the same equitable impact from COVID-19 as others. Some people could not stay home, work safe, or whatever the local work order was. You'll see that in the data, and you'll know from what address they live and where they work. So it's a very rich data set. It's not intended to pick people out. There's no way to do that. But it will allow you to get an estimate of basically human behavior from a lot of different lenses.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kelly. Kelly, there was one other question I was going to ask you about this data set, Kelly.
Yeah.
I know there's a cost associated with even having access to this data. Are you able to share that with us, just so they have an idea of how valuable data,
Oh, yeah.
specifically this data is?
So prior to them making it available for research purposes, this amount of data would have cost on order of about over $100 million, because it is really used for marketing. It is really used in the business world. That's where it's got kind of high value. Another aspect of this is, for some places you have geometry. So you really get an idea of how many people are there every hour of every day. And you can kind of market your business around it. But on order, this much data on order of more than $100 million.
Wow.
They do have a research cost now. So much like, if you guys are familiar with sort of what happened with Adobe, where they went from a license to sort of a yearly sort of opt-in to all of their products, they do now have that for the academic world. So for 2 seats, it's roughly about $1,800 a year.
Wow. So the reason I actually asked you to say that, like, again, was so that you all have an idea of the value that's within this data, and the I don't want to say privilege, but the fact that it's very unique that you'll have access to this data that goes along with it. So please take advantage of that, of this opportunity for you to do that. And then the fact that Kelly, and of course the pandemic decision science group, they're a very targeted group. And so being able to apply, if you're just, when I say just a computer scientist, but let's say you're a computer science major or a math major, or actually we have a breadth of different majors that are part of this, being able to apply your skills in a more targeted way, please take advantage of this. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Having said that, we're going to say this again. Thanks again, Kelly. We're going to say this again, but just as a first run at it, this data set is actually located on our storage system at TAC, known as Work 2, in the projects, UT projections, and SafeGraph data, for you to have access to this data, again, because there is a value and a proprietary nature that goes along with this data. Within the groups, they will have to go through Kelly in order to be given permissions to access this data. So I just want to put that out there. Something else I do want to make you aware, all of us will be a part of a project called TAC Train. That's what will give us our computational allocation, our ability to use computers. You can kind of think of that project as almost a credit card that allows us to use the various computers. And of course, there are directors within there. We're going to see this here in a moment when we use TAP.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jamie.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I think several of the mentors are planning on using that particular data set. So they have access. I know Jose is, and
Okay.
Emily may be as well. So
Perfect.
they all know this data very well.
Perfect. And I do want to tell you, I'm going to say this out loud again, just to make sure it is clear. If you are using this data set, if your team uses either of these data sets, you will need to do it on TAC systems because of the proprietary nature of the data. You would not be able to use Omnibond's Project Eureka. So I just want to make sure that that's known. Now, having said that, we're going to use a very unique portal, another science gateway that we have at TAC that actually Maytal and Jay Stubbs and their team have worked on over the years, as well as Paul Navarrete. It's a portal that's actually named the TAC Analysis Portal that will allow us to start jobs on TAC. So you keep hearing me use this word gateways and science gateways. Back in the bad old days, so to speak, you can still do it today. But if you wanted to gain access to a supercomputer, you had to use something called the command line. Well, as the community has grown and technology has adjusted and changed, and our knowledge that we want to bring as many people in and remove the barriers to entry, these websites, we're calling them portals, but these websites allow you to use those computational resources, those computers, in a much, much easier way. And TAP is one of those portals that allows you to do it. Now, I'm going to try to do this live, but I recorded it just in case because I'm smart.
I'm just going to hop in real quick. And for those of you who use this, if you know Paul, this is actually all Paul. So this actually speaks to how useful and how easy it is to get these interfaces up and running. Obviously, they're complex, but this is all Paul's child, and he did a great job. And so, for any of you who know him, please thank him once you're done using TAP, because it's an extremely useful resource that we have at TAC.
Excellent. Thank you, Maytal. So what you're seeing me do is I'm actually going through and I added some information to the website, including, let me pause this because it's about to change. I added the system. In this case, I used Frontera. I used the application I wanted to start was Jupyter Notebooks. The project, that TRA 23003, that's that TAC Train project. In all likelihood, that'll be the only one you see for your account, especially if it's new. You'll select that. In the queue, in other words, which computers or set of computers you want to use, we're using a developmental queue. We'll talk more about that later. I can get down in the weeds with you about that later. The job name, you can name it whatever you wish to name it. In my case, I called it HPC in the City test. And then I gave it a time limit of 30 minutes. So I kept it low. The default time is 2 hours, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to get it through. Again, this information is on the slide. This video is available on the slides. Feel free to use it. And when I was ready, I hit connect. And now I'm in a Jupyter Notebook instance. Now, for my Python programmers, I wanted to do a quick hello world. So I'll open a brand new Jupyter Notebook. And I did our print. And of course, because I'm a coder, hello world. And then I ran that cell just to show that it works. So basics. Again, we'll talk more about this later, but I at least wanted you to have a look at it here on TAP in the TAC portal. Now, to get to the data, again, I wanted you to have a video so you had a way that you could kind of refer to it. So we already had that Jupyter Notebook run. We already had that instance running, Jupyter Notebooks. So I just showed you that that's where we still were. If we weren't connected, I would have hit connect. And then we showed up on that home screen that we did prior. But I wanted to show you a couple different ways to get to it using Jupyter Notebooks / Python. So I made my notebook a little bit prettier because I wanted to, using Markdown. The exclamation point PWD is a Linux command that means print working directory. you can look at that as if you were in Windows or a Mac and you double clicked on the Finder or the Explorer and it showed you what was there, or that's where you're located. And then the ls command actually show you what's there. I added all the comments in there in this Jupyter notebook. I'll also add that to the site. I'll make a link to my a note to myself to add this to the site. But then I used a relatively common Python command. There we go. A Python module / library. A library is a group of code that allows you to use something a little bit easier. In this case, it's called OS, or operating system. Allows you to look at things on the computer. And in this case, I listed those things in this cell right here. There we go. So I put in that path that Kelly provided, and I ran the cell, and it shows the same things there. Again, I know this is very fast. I'm not diving into it. This is just something for you to be aware of, something you could visually see to be able to take a look at it. That makes sense? All right. So we are 1 minute away from being at the end of the hour, and I know that some of you all may need to go. This slide deck is available on our event site, so feel free to take a look at it, and the links to the videos are there so you can see them. And if they're not, I will make sure they're there because it's in PDF form. Having said that, I did want to take one moment to run through this one time live, cross our fingers, and see and try to get this done. But before I do, for those of you that do have to go, I want to let you know that our next session is Friday, 2 days from now, 5 p.m. Central Time, that's 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, where we'll have our kickoff, where we'll form our teams, where our mentors will do their pitches, we'll form our teams, and also Omnibomb will give us a little bit of an overview, a very, very brief overview of Project Eureka for those that want to use it. For future use, you can, of course, go to our schedule. Actually, Charlie, if you wouldn't mind dropping that in chat. I do want to show the schedule. Let me actually escape out of the full view. There we go. And go to our schedule. And actually, I'll put it on light mode. On our schedule, as of today, first of all, if you want to add all of these events to your calendar, I'm a person that if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So we do have that link there. We've done our mentors overview. We've done our system onboarding training. And Friday we'll have our kickoff. And all information for the schedule is listed there here on our main site that we'll, of course, be addressing from always. All right. So having said that, so for those of you that have to drop off, I understand. Please make sure that you fill out the form that provides us with your users. Right now, we are at 10. We are at a total of 10 of you all have added that information. So thank you. You all have officially completed. Charlie, if you wouldn't mind adding that link to the form back into the site. But now, let's get dangerous. Let's do one demo. For those of you that are able to stay, we're going to do one demo. And for those of you online, cross your fingers. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and open. I'm just kidding. I know this is going to work. Right, Kelly? Right, Chris?
First time, every time.
Every time. Live and in person. So I'm typing in the address tap.tap.tacc.utexas.edu. I'm hitting enter. Now, in my case, I'm already logged in. You would actually see a username and password window, and then you would click login, and that, of course, would go ahead and get you in. Much like before, I'm going to continue to use our Frontera system. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, the cool thing is it actually lets you know what our utilization is. Right now, we have about 313 jobs running on Frontera. Frontera is an enormous system. Was it 14 petaflops, if I remember correctly? Or is it 22 petaflops? Oh, Chris is shaking his head. 14 or 22?
I believe 14.
14.
In that order, though, for sure.
For those of you that I'm speaking a different language, a flop is a floating point operator. So peta meaning a one with 15 zeros after it. That's how many, if we think about a operation as like a math equation, a plus, a minus, a division, a multiplication, it can do one with 15 zeros after it, math equations per second. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you're interested to more about Frontera, I'm posting the link to the Frontera system in
Thank you,
chat.
sir. Now, one of the other systems we do have access to is Lone Star 6, which is, I will tell you about Lone Star 6 one another day. It is actually liquid cooled, and by liquid cooled, I mean it is immersed in liquid. Where in Frontera, much like the systems people have at home where they have the liquid tubes going to it, Frontera actually works that way. In this case, just like I did before, I'm using Jupyter Notebooks. Just to say a little bit more about Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks is a interface that works over the web, as you can see, that allows you to do things like use languages such as Python, R, as well as others within it, that allows you to also add text and images so that your programs are not only understandable, but runnable. So imagine if you were, for my computer science people, a book that you could actually run the code from within. It's a pretty neat tool, I do also want to point out, because I am fairly certain Kelly will use this tool, that RStudio is also one of the applications that you can run from TAP. For our project, again, I'm going to select TRA 23002. I have other projects that I'm a part of, but that TRA 23003 is that TAC Train project, which the vast majority of you all, that'll be the only project that you will see. For our queue, again, this is the type of node that we want to select, as well as the amount of time that you can select within it. In our case, we're going to keep this simple. We want to use the developmental queue. The vast majority of you will be using the developmental queue. Job name, you can name this whatever you would like, as long as it's less than 20 characters. In this case, I'm going to go do live, not KView, live demo. Please work. Because demos, those of you that do demos, you understand why I'm doing that. Now, for the time limit, this literally means within our cluster, the cluster is made of multiple individual computers, and you're asking to use one computer. That node right there where it says node, a node you can look at, your laptop is one node. If you need to use multiple, of course you can. But in our case, we're using one computer, one node, and we want to use it for, in my case, I'm just going to say 10 minutes. And the way I do that, in the hour space, I'm going to do 00, colon, 10 for 10 minutes, colon, and 0 seconds. Why is this important? This is a shared resource, or Frontera and Lone Star 6 are actually shared resources. So they have to limit the amount of time that different users can use each one of those computers, because there are other jobs that need to run. As you can see, there are, on Frontera right now, at this very moment, there's 611 waiting jobs. And by job, I mean a program or a script that someone's written that they want to run, waiting to run. So we need to know how long they wait. But what that also means is when that time is up, it can turn you off. It can stop your session. So what that means is we save often. We always save. And that's all we have to put in there. So we put in our system, the application we want to run, that project, specifically TRA 23003, and then our queue, which in this case is development. We gave our job a name and a time limit, and I hit submit. And this is going to take a moment. So what's going on right now? We have something called a scheduler. You can think about it as like a director that takes a look at all of those thousands of machines we have and goes, who is available to work? And a node comes back, a computer comes back and goes, I'm available. And the director goes, fine, take this user, take Jamie and do what he says he needs you to do. And so that's what's actually going on with that job. And that scheduler is actually, or that job scheduler is actually called Slurm. Now, once it's ready to go, you'll actually see a button here that says connect. So we'll go ahead and connect to our job. You could also select this web link that's listed here, but I'm going to go ahead and hit connect. And we're inside of a Jupyter Notebook session. Now, if I want to start a session here, I can actually go to new. I could start a terminal session. So I could go to the command line and I can do things like print working directory, pwd, see where I am. I can list files, ls. I can even go to, let me see if I can make this a little bit larger for you. There we go. I can even go to that directory that Kelly has made available to us. So that's cd/work2/projects/ut projections/ there's one more step. There's one more step. Where's the,
You got this. You got this.
what's the last one?
Got faith in
A
you,
couple
Jamie.
times. There we go. I cheated. I admit it. I cheated. Safe graph. There we go. And within that directory, I can list it and I can see that full mobility. I can get a little bit more information about it and it is there. Now, I do want to show you just in case. The reason I said you need to be given access to it is because if I try to change directory, cd change into that directory, permissions denied. Why? Because I don't have access to it. But as your teams do require access, of course, they will be given to you. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. That showed us a little bit of a terminal. What if we just wanted to code? All I want to do is code. I went to new and I went to Python 3. And sure enough, I can say, hello, all my HPC in the city participants. And then I can go to run. And I have my Python program running. Again, these are some very, this is a very simplistic way of looking at it. There is a lot more to it, but I at least wanted you to be aware of those. And as I said, you always want to save. So I'm gonna call this a test program. I'm renaming it, and that save button right there, even though it auto saves from time to time, make a habit. Save it when as you think about it.
For those of you who are new to the Jupyter world, we will be we can post you some resources that'll help you navigate. So no
Yes.
no worries. We're here for you.
Yes. Again, we're family. We support each other. Some of you all may use some interesting Python modules. If that happens, you can install them. Of course, we'll be here to assist you with that as well. All right. Having said that, I'm going to escape that. I'm going to log out of my Jupyter instance. Close that. And back here where I click connect to start my job, I'm actually going to end my job because I'm done with that session. It will end itself at the end of that 10 minutes in this case, but it's always good to end it on your own as well. All right.
Good citizenship. Free up the node.
Exactly. There is one more tool. I do want to take a moment to show, again, if you are using the data sets that are available to the SafeGraph data sets, right now, this particular tool will not, you won't be able to use that, although we are working on that, believe it or not, Kelly, there is some movement. Just saying, just putting it out there. With CEP. Now, Maytal does know about CEP because her employees have actually presented several papers, posters, and presentations this very week at Gateways speaking about it. So I do want to show the benefits of cep.tac.utexas.edu. So that very same account that you use to log into the other portal, you can use to log in here. And it will take you to this screen. gives you a little bit more information, tells you a bit more about, well, as you see, I have tickets and things because, you know, we have work to do. It shows you what jobs are running. It tells you more about the systems. You can view your data files here. This is one of the cool things that I really love about it. And you can
It is
make
a beautifully,
available.
beautifully made portal. Yeah, this is great.
Exactly. And then
And just to give a little bit of context, this is a portal available to anyone with a TAC account. So if you have a TAC account, you have the ability to sort of manage your account, your data, your allocations, all through this the TAC portal.
yes. And so I will say this. This gives you a little bit of a quick way to add data to your work directory as well as others. So there's my data in Frontera. I could add it right there if I wish to do that. In applications, we're given a few more applications. So under data processing, we see our old dear friend Jupyter Lab, as well as our studio, QGIS, because we do have mobility data that it actually has geotags on it. And you may have other data sets outside of those that have the same information. MATLAB is here. I know there are always MATLAB lovers out there. This is there and available for you, as well as some simulation software and visualization software, including ParaView, which is a longtime favorite for many visualizers. Although they're newer programs now, right, Kelly? They're a little bit more beloved than ParaView, or is ParaView still the premier?
ParaView is premier for 3D. This data is not 3D.
Understood. But like we said, it's here, it's available. It's one more resource that's available to you. And that I just wanted to make you aware. Now, having said that, I'm going to go back to my slides. I'm going to go to my final slide one last time, just as a reminder to everyone out there that we'll have our kickoff on Friday, November 11th, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And having said that, it is my distinct pleasure to say thank you for joining us. And we will end our video now. Happy hacking. Maybe. Once I find stop, looks like I'm going to have to edit this one. There we go.